And what assassins should always remember is just because you take somebody out doesn't mean the message is going to stop. And it's important to keep that in mind, because when you look at our loss of Martin Luther King, or name anyone who's been assassinated in this country, we continue to fight on. And that's what America offers. It says, listen, you have the right to say and feel however you want. That is a birthright. You're born with that right. So taking somebody out is not the way to do it. You want to fight about something, then go to the ballot box. Go elect different people. Killing people doesn't do anything except make it a horrible world for their children. We'll be right back.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? The one and only James Williams, Dark Waters, and I'm back. If you've been following me for a while, then you know we went to our board and we tracked the psychological operations, which have now went to offensive operations against the United States of America. And I laid out that there are three groups of people who are a part of this operation. One of them is the Free Palestinian Movement, which is basically Islam in this nation, hidden under the banner of Free Palestine. Then there's the LGBT movement, and then there's the woke movement. And let's be clear, when we start talking about LGBT, it's not the lesbian, gays that we're worrying about. It's everything after L and G that's really becoming a problem in this nation. After you go L and G, and then all the rest of the alphabets are the issues. We always had lesbian and gays in this nation. And then we have the wokeism, our woke people in this nation. So woke is the people you see who are celebrating with earrings in their noses. And it's a philosophy that leads to radicalization. And it's a religion. And that's what we're facing in this nation right now. That's what this battle is against. It's a triple-headed serpent, a monster that is attacking. Now, I think there's a lot coming out and this video will be real quick. There's a lot coming out for us to get a deeper level of understanding about what's going on during Kash Patel's Senate hearing. So we're going to switch over and go look at what's being said by Kash Patel and what's being revealed during his Senate hearings real quickly. And you'll come to the understanding that there's a level above this that runs these organizations. And it's the reason why Kash Patel, I said this every time something happens, he looks like a deer in headlight, because Kash Patel is riding a tiger, and if he lets that tiger go, that tiger is going to kill him, in the words of my friend Byron Cagle. He's riding the back of the tiger, and he knows he cannot let go. And what's coming out is what was once considered a conspiracy theory, that conservatives were being targeted by the FBI. It's called Operation Arctic Frost. We knew this. We knew this because parents were being targeted by the FBI. Conservative pundits were being targeted by the FBI. And conservative leaders were being targeted by the FBI. This we knew, hell, from the time Donald Trump went into office the first time. But now it's finally coming out 10 years later. Let's take a listen.
Control American gangs like MS-13. Now, well, it's well understood that your predecessor left you an FBI infected with politics. I'm going to provide examples of that today, including making public new whistleblower records. At your nomination hearing, I made public records that whistleblowers provide me about Arctic Frost. Arctic Frost was the FBI case opened and approved by antitrust Trump FBI agent Thibault. Arctic Frost then became Jack Smith's elector case against then Citizen Trump and now President Trump. These new records show that Arctic Frost was much broader than just an electoral matter. The case was expanded to Republican organizations. Some examples of the group that Ray FBI sought to place under political investigation included the Republican National Committee, Republican Attorney Generals Association, and various Trump political groups. In total, 92 Republican targets, including Republican groups and Republican-linked individuals, were placed under investigative scope of Arctic frost. On that political list was one of Charlie Kirk's groups, Turning Point USA. In other words, Arctic frost wasn't just a case to politically investigate Trump. It was the vehicle by which partisan FBI agents and Department of Justice prosecutors could achieve their partisan ends and improperly investigate the entire Republican political apparatus. So today, Senator Johnson and I are making these records public for the entire country to see, and I hope a lot of people are interested in seeing what government can do when various agencies have a political agenda. My investigative work has also exposed the political way in which Peter Navarro was investigated and prosecuted. When FBI agent Thibault found out that Biden's DOJ would prosecute Navarro, he said, "Wow, great." That's a quote, unquote. Through whistleblowers, I've obtained a audio recording of Special Agent Giagardina and Special Agent Sebastian Gardner's delivery of a subpoena to Navarro. I'm making that audio public today. In a court document filed by the Department of Justice, Navarro's...
Wow. So the significance of this, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are not catching on to it, you see, when Kash Patel went to the FBI, I don't care what kind of intentions Kash Patel had. I believe he had good intentions. He went into an occupied territory as the king over an occupied territory with all these different operations running actively. And think about it for a moment. There's no incentive for these people to stop running their operations. And then if the layer of people below you are captured and they are turned over to what I would call wickedness, or turned over to the Biden administration, or turned over to even the Obama administration, or going all the way back to the Bush administration, they're going to keep running their operations right under your nose, and you will take the fall for it. So here's what's happening now. Now this is being exposed in public hearings, and names are being dropped, which, as the whistleblowers' accounts come out, these people have to go. If they haven't been kicked out of the FBI already, they're going to end up being kicked out of the FBI. But don't think for one moment that this whole operation is possible without the FBI, the Free Palestinian movement, the LGBT, tranny, the murder movement, and the woke movement. None of that's possible without the FBI. I'm sorry. In fact, I'll go so far as to say I believe all of it's being managed by the FBI. And then when you go back, this is the thing that gets me. People will talk about the COINTELPRO operations that were ran by the FBI. Counterintelligence operation ran by the Democratic FBI to spy on civil rights leaders, and the trials in the 60s that came out. And it's the same thing replaying itself over and over and over again. And you're seeing the exact same results. And you have the weaponization of young black men on college campuses. Let's keep it real. It's going to be on college campuses because they want to see a race war. Black people don't stand to win any kind of race war. I'm sorry. I don't even know where the concept and idea comes from that there should be a race war and black people should participate in a race war. You're going to get crushed in a race war. You lose a race war. But the problem is America loses any type of race war because now out of that chaos, they can usher in whatever they want to usher in. Out of the chaos of a race war, they'll have Donald Trump impeached, and then you will have all kind of foolishness pop off in this nation. Underneath the cover of a race war, the Trantifa army will come out and target and murder everyone. And this is the danger. I'm going to say this as I play this clip of this young man. Let me play him first. And I'm going to explain this to anybody who's black that listens to me. This is why you're going to have to start telling your friends, and they may not like it. You have to tell them they need to calm down because they need to use you as the cannon fodder, as the cover for them to do all the other dastardly deeds. We've already seen this program in action. Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. You're marching in the street, you're upset, and they burn your neighborhood down. Antifa burns down the stores in your neighborhood. You didn't burn them down. Antifa burned it down, mixed in with you. So you are the cover for their attacks on America. And the craziest thing is, the attack happened in your neighborhood. Burned down your neighborhood. You couldn't blame no conservative white dude. No conservative white people were going into your neighborhoods. It was Antifa. And it's gotten to the point to where people in the hood understand this. So now they're focused on the only demographic group that they can, which is the college students, to get them riled up and get them to go crazy. This is the only thing they have left, is this group to get triggered.
Charlie Kirk got hit in the neck. He's not real. He's not real. He's not real. Oh my God. Everybody has not me. My name is Charlie Kirk. Come on.
Oh, buddy.
Fuck that nigga.
You're gonna get expelled, dude.
Now, I want you to observe something. If the shoe had been on the other foot, and let's go to Delta, Mississippi, with the lynching of the young black man or the hanging of the young black man from a tree. We're not sure if it's a lynching, if it's suicide. But let's just go worst case scenario. Let's say he was lynched by a group of white people who rode around in a white pickup truck with shotguns in the back window. And then some white dude went into a crowd of black people doing a memorial and did like this. That would have turned violent extremely quick. It didn't even turn violent. People looked at him and was like, yo, dude, you're going to get expelled. And he is going to get expelled. So you just threw your whole future away for what? Nothing. But this is what the deep state wants. This is, quite frankly, when you start talking about the deep state, you're talking about the shadow government of America. They want this activity. They need this. If this is their heroin, they need this in order to pull off what's next. And I say you don't give it to them. I say we don't give it to them, ladies and gentlemen, because it's plainly obvious. It's blatantly obvious what's going on. Only a fool can't see this.